Jocelyn Andazola is from Ascencion, Chihuahua, Mexico, 120 miles west of El Paso, Texas. Ascencion is a community that experienced a wave of the debilitating violence that has resulted in minimal availability of community services like healthcare. Born with hip dysplasia, the doctors in Ascencion failed to diagnose Jocelyn's condition at childbirth. It wasn't until Jocelyn started to take her first steps that her parents noticed that something was wrong.
Desde que empezó a caminar fue así como en ocasiones caminaba un poquito desbalanceada, pero ya cuando de repente era como más chaparrita, empezó a crecer, se pegó un estironcito y fue que se le empezó a notar ya una piernita más larga que otra.
Their first reaction was to take Jocelyn to a doctor near Ascencion where they live, but there was no one to help them.
Ahí no hay especialistas, no hay pediatra, no hay nada.
Nos dijeron que aquí en Juárez estaba el hospital infantil, que por medio de ese hospital nos la podían operar. Y vinimos y nos dijeron que no tenían el equipo. Hablaron a Chihuahua y nos dijeron que nos iban a mandar a Chihuahua. Después de vueltas nos dijeron que pues no, que ahí tampoco tenían el equipo para poderla operar.
Jocelyn's parents felt they were running out of options to help their daughter. Then they found out about the Borderless Giving Program. They attended a clinic that Borderless Giving held in Juarez, Mexico, to review children with specific orthopedic conditions. Dr. Alejandro Diaz and his staff graciously donated use of the facility and their imaging services. Their staff volunteered their time for the one-day clinic in support of Borderless Giving. Pediatric orthopedic surgeon Dr. Sean Machin and volunteers from El Paso Children's Hospital, Texas Tech, UTEP, and other areas from across the community crossed over to Juarez to review and pre-qualify over 50 candidates for the program.
So this little girl has a left hip dislocation. She was essentially born with it, and it did not really become apparent probably until she started walking, and she walked with one leg significantly shorter than the other, and the x-rays demonstrate that the ball of the proximal femur, the hip, is not in the socket.
For Jocelyn's parents, it was a surprise that their daughter was chosen to receive surgery.
Nos dijeron de la fundación y pues fue algo.
Only a few weeks later, Jocelyn received her surgery.
Our goal today is to do an operation that'll put the hip back in the socket, and I think at her age she should have a really good result and end up with a good functioning hip from this procedure. We did what we had planned to do, which was to do an open hip reduction. We did a procedure to put the hip back in place. So the femoral head is now back in the socket. We did have to do a little, what we call an osteotomy of the pelvis to bring the pelvis over the top to keep the hip in place. But everything went very well, and her legs are now the same length, her hip is in place, and after using this cast for about 6 weeks or so, she should be a lot better and eventually be able to walk without any kind of limp.
Yo no sabía la magnitud de que iba a ser tan bueno esto, y no, es una maravilla.
Teníamos miedo, o sea, no era nada más el caminar, que caminaba desbalanceada, era, pues podía tener más complicaciones y ya no, o sea, ya está solucionado, ya está bien, sus piernas del mismo tamaño.
Jocelyn needed special transportation to return back to her home to Ascencion. She was transported on a private ambulance thanks to the support of Mexico's federal congresswoman, Adriana Fuentes.
Cada centavo, cada dólar que aportan, todo se usa porque son operaciones muy caras que sin ayuda de la fundación, sin ayuda de ellos que donan, pues jamás, al menos nosotros jamás lo hubiéramos podido hacer.
It's been a really wonderful thing, I think. It's been a pleasure for me and brings me really a lot of joy to be able to help these kids out. And I'm grateful to the foundation for making it all possible, for all of the donors who have given freely of their money and their charities to help these children who really are very deserving. So it's a great program. Dr. Holland and Dr. Abdelgawad are going to be here to continue the program forward, and I encourage everybody to continue to participate in this.